Welcome back to Meg's Mysteries. This story is called Don't Go Into the Light. It's a warm summer night. We sit on the front porch, taking in the beautiful breeze. I'm watching the moths fly around the porch light, like they're drawn to the glow. But I think to myself, watch out, little fella. Then zap, it got too close. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of bugs of any kind. As kids, we like all those little creepy crawly things. Even caught and played with some. Lightning bugs, butterflies, lizards, frogs, and even mice. But now as an adult, no way, we don't like them. Adults fear and even try to kill them and call them pests. This story's a kind of story of a revenge. Don't go into the light. I hate bugs. I hate the country, cried Franny as she swatted at the flies around her. They're nothing but pests and carry disease. They're all around us. Her husband just sits there. You're still not used to the country life. You were brought up in the city, a city girl. And now you're fussing about a little bug. Didn't you have them roaches and rats and mice in the city? Now a couple little flies and you go all crazy. He just shakes his head and then he laughs to himself. Thanks a lot, Jack. You brought me here to this bug-infested world. I'll never get used to it. So sit and enjoy your glass of whatever it is. I know it ain't tea. Just let them bugs attack you. Then Franny swats and kills some more flies. The porch light comes on, and it's getting darker and darker out. She slams the screen door and yells, "Make sure you keep this door closed. I don't want any of those bugs coming in here." Jack just sips his drink and smiles. The moth goes around the light. Too close. Zap. You'd think he would have learned by now. Don't go into the light, he thinks to himself. He stays out and don't want to go in. She's in one of her moods. Even after 40 years of marriage, she's still getting meaner by the day. He hears her grumbling about something in the kitchen, and then snap, a mousetrap. Jack, get in here. Get this dead thing out of my house now. Poor little mouse, he says to himself. At least you're free from her yapping. Mouse heaven doesn't sound too bad about now. Then he goes in and cleans up the mess. Then he hears her again. Come now, get this spider out of the bedroom. I will not sleep until it's dead and gone. So an hour later, Jack finally finds the poor spider, more scared of Franny than she is of it. But this time he saves it alive and puts it outside. Escape while you can and don't come back. You're free. I wish I could go with you. The next morning, both as usual, she gets up, but Jack had a headache and was still sleeping. She screams, breakfast, and make sure you get more anti-ant poison. They're back. Ants in my kitchen. I will not stand for these pests in my house. Oh dear, Jack says as he gobbles up his cold eggs and bacon and bitter coffee. You'd think she could cook by now. Even after 40 years, he's still not used to her bad, bitter coffee. She knows he likes it black and no sugar. I think she makes it bitter all the time just for spite. So then he goes into town. At least he doesn't have to hear her complain for a while. At the hardware store, he sees his friends. He sits and chats with fellows and plays a game of chess with Bob. Has a cup of great black coffee and a piece of fresh cornbread that the owner, Jim's wife, Mabel, makes every day, fresh for the customers. They're more like friends who gather to chew the fat. Gossip is not just for women. Oh, I guess I gotta go home now. Here's my list, and he gives it to Jim and Mabel to fill. I must remember that Annie Ant. We got some ants in the kitchen, and she's going on about it. She'll kill me if I don't return with that ant poison. Mabel warns him not to mix it up with any food. It could be dangerous. He thanks them and then goes home with his purchases. Oh, that city girl, Mabel laughs. Jim just smiles. Not like my country gal. Nothing bothers you, my love, he tells her, and they both get back to work. Close to home, Jack thinks, what did Mabel say? Oh, yeah, be careful of that ant poison in the kitchen. So then he reads the label and the warning on the bag. Toxic, contains arsenic, can be deadly to pets and humans. When he gets home, he hears her screeching. "What took you so long, jabbering with those friends of yours? I need you here. Now kill those ants." "Boy, if I had the nerve, I'd shut her trap up for good," he thinks to himself. "I tried, boy did I try my best, but she's getting worse by the minute. I don't know how much more I can take of this." Then he goes and puts the ant powder down in the kitchen. More mouse traps all around. "Poor little mice," he thinks. "I'd rather live with the critters than—" And then he hears her yapping. "You done yet? I'm not making you anything tonight for dinner. I'm not stepping one foot in that ant-infected kitchen." Then he sees her go watch her TV shows with a nice fat sandwich. Jack pours the white powder. "Sure looks like sugar, don't it? Do you want some nice cold sweet tea, dear?" And he hands Franny a big glass. "Did you put enough sugar in it? You know I like it sweet. That's the only thing I like about the South is the sweet tea." He smiles. She sure likes her sweet tea, and a couple more of them, dear, and lights out for good. The next morning he makes coffee, bacon, and eggs. "Here's your coffee, dear, just like you like it. Lots of sugar." She eats it all and tells him the flower bed needs weeding and feed the chickens. He doesn't mind. At least he's outside and has some peace. And in here soon, too. All through the day he smiles and goes about his business. At lunchtime she drinks more tea and adds more sugar. "You didn't make it sweet enough," she says. "Here's your lunch." "No tea?" He says, "No, water's just fine." And he eats a sandwich and goes back outside. Dinner is a salad. "I didn't feel like cooking," she said, and she pours more sweet tea. He eats and doesn't touch his tea. She says, "What, no tea?" She said, "I know you want some of that moonshine, don't you? Be getting drunk tonight. I got things for you to do. Take out the trash and clean up, will you? I'm not feeling too good." And then she leaves to lay down. By the time it's bedtime, she's complaining of a stomach ache. "Must have been that breakfast you made. All that bacon's too greasy. I feel awful." Now she's getting sicker and sicker. "I think I need to go to the doctor. You have to drive me," she cries. Jack says, "Go lay down. I'll make you some nice hot tea and toast. It'll help. But if you're not better in the morning, I'll take you." She yells, "Make sure you make it sweet. I hate when it's not sweet." "Here, dear, just how you like it." And he smiles as she drinks it. "Needs more butter on this toast. It tastes too dry." "Yes, dear. I wish you were sweeter, but oh well," he thinks to himself as he butters the toast again. Now doubling over, crying, Franny feels like dying, and she does. He finds her in the bathroom. Nothing he could do now but call the ambulance. But must be something she ate, he tells him. At the funeral, all come to pay their respects. "Poor Jack, what will you do now?" He said, "She put that darn Annie ant all around the kitchen. Must have gotten in the food. I told her to be careful, but she never listened to me. She had to kill those ants." The doctor said it must have gotten in a sugar bowl. I myself don't like sugar, as you know. Black coffee for me. But she sure liked her sweet tea. Okay, now Jack sits on the porch and the light comes on. A big fat moth flies around the light. He looks at it. "Well, if you just don't look like my Franny, with that gray color hair and that mean-looking face. Nasty like when she saw a bug." And then zap! It got too close to the light and fried itself. Karma, Jack thinks, and smiles. So did Franny really come back as a bug that she hated? Karma for killing all those poor little creatures? Little mice, ants, and crawly things? They just could be reincarnated. Is that her? So before you swat, check and see. It just might be a relative coming back. Or it could be you coming back as a bug. I hope you enjoyed this story. Come back for more on Meg's Mysteries. Until next time, enjoy your evening.